So this is 1.25 pounds. How do you center 1.25 pounds? Do you need to cone up? Do you need a lot of water? Can you do it with one hand? These are all different kind of ways people will center clay. Again, I lock my left elbow into my hip bone. My right hand is here. Do not do this. See, your arms are not level. You have no anchor, and you're basically just jumping on your clay and going for a ride. And at the same time, you actually make it more off-center than you did before. So if you start immediately by that left elbow in your hip bone, again, if you need to lift it up on a brick to get yourself a little taller, sometimes you may have a super long torso, and when you push, your center becomes all the way over here. Move your butt back a little. Make it so that your center of your palm of your hand is gonna create about a 4-inch circle. I do not have that problem. So I'm not gonna use these fingers at all. These fingers are not coming to the party. I'm gonna push in with the heel of my hand and down with the side of my right hand. I'm gonna add some water. When I add water, I loosen up on here so I don't push the clay off. It stays on by putting even pressure on the top of your hand and down on the heel of your hand. Now notice I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. I have the first knuckle after my pinky tip in the very center of the clay. Did you ever see that little nipple come up? That's usually because your finger is not in the middle. Let me show you. See that? Because my finger is not in the middle. But if my knuckle is in the middle, it will push that down. I'm then using the whole strength of the side of my hand to push down on one radius of the clay. And I'm dropping my wrist so that I can get this sort of rounded, smooth. So I'm using this entire part of my hand, but guess what? This right here is not so strong. So these 4 fingers are making it stronger. And I'm not moving because I'm not wiggling up here. It's because I have my elbow on my thigh. At the same time, I'm using my heel of my hand, right close to 6 o'clock, but a little over to 5. The heel of my hand is perpendicular to the wheel head. It is not slanted in. If it gets slanted in, see that shape that gets created right there? So we want to have the palm of our hand perpendicular. Now, if that does happen, you can use this whole part of your hand, not your pinky, to push that clay in to the side there. And what that does, it pushes the clay and it oozes it down into there. So I'm literally going to start again. Top of my hand pushing down, wrist, right wrist dropping, so I get that sort of round shape. Pinky knuckle in the very center of the top of the clay. My left palm is just pushing in. A lot of people will put the side of their hand on the side and they push from 3 o'clock. All that's doing is, it's not giving you the same strength, and usually you're just gonna be going for a ride again. Now, once you've got that going on, it's very hard to clean this up with the heel of your hand. You've got some space here. So now we want to invite these 3 fingers to the party. The pinky is not invited. If you use your pinky, you'll tend to, again, end up with this sort of shape. The pinky has a lot of flexibility and has the ability to really curl. These fingers are not as flexible. So if we have those fingers at an angle and we treat them almost like a rib that you use to clean the side of your pots, my left palm is still pushing towards the middle, and now my fingers over here are invited to the party, and they're gonna come and smooth out the sides of my pot. And my ring finger tip is gonna clean up that bottom down there to get rid of all the caca that's hanging out on the bottom, because that's an actual pottery term. Now, if you have your fingers horizontal, you'll tend to get these sort of fingerprints. And we don't want those sort of marks. So by having your fingers at an angle, you'll get a little bit of a smoother side. So once we feel like it's centered, we don't pick our hands off really fast because that's gonna throw it off. Once we feel as though our clay is centered and we've got the desired shape for what we wanna make, kind of forgot to tell you guys, this is all happening with your wheel going super fast. Then we're going to slowly take our hands off. Now, how do you know that it's centered? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my fingernail and I'm gonna draw and scrape that off. You should never have any clay past your mound of clay. If you have an apron or a skirt or a bumpy part here, when you start to pull, that part is gonna get stuck in your wheel, in your clay, and eventually one side of your pot is going to be taller than the other. If you put your hand on top, gently, and it feels like it's a tire with all of its air in it, then you know that it's centered. Let me show you from the top. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna mess that up a little bit. Okay, mess it up a little. So now watch me draw this circle. See that? Now squint. If that circle does not look like it's moving, then you know that it's centered. And now it's time to open up your clay. Hope that helped.